4, part 2, number 21. So the data in the table above were produced by a sleep researcher studying the number of dreams people recall when asked to record their dreams for 1 week. Group X consists of 100 people who observe early bedtime, and Group Y is 100 people who observe later bedtime. If a person you choose at random from those who recall at least one dream, okay? Recall at least one dream, meaning not including the one who didn't recall. So 1 to 5. So here's the total number of people who recall at least one dream is 39 plus 125. That could belong to group Y. Where's group Y? Here's group Y, 11 plus 68. So that is 79 over what's 39 plus 125, 164. So 79 divided by, 164. It's right here, C. Which of the following best approximates the average rate of change in annual budget for agriculture resource in Kansas from 2008 to 2010? Average rate of change for agriculture from 2008 to 2010. So how many years in total? 2 years, right? And the difference is 40. Yeah, you don't have to put all the decimals. So let's just put 488,000 minus 357, maybe 0.7 thousand. So that is about 130 point, right? But it was in thousands, so 2, 3, so 2 more zeros, right? So you divide that by 2 and multiply again 1,000 approximately, right? Because we didn't put all the hundreds and ones. So that's about 65,000. Oh, and it must be in thousands of dollars. So you have to multiply by 1,000 again. So that's 3 more zeros. So it will be about, here, right? 65 million. Okay. So 23. Same data we're using. Which program ratio of the 2007 to 2010 budget is closest to the human resource program? So ratio, human resource, from here to here. So just get the ratio. Again, I'm not going to put all the numbers. Let's just put it in thousands, okay? So 51 divided by just the thousands, right? 5921. So both, we divided by 1,000 from here, get rid of 1,000 and 1,000, you will get the same ratio. So here I have 0.684. So what about agriculture? So here to here, so 373.9, let's put 0.9 because 9 is very, you kind of need to round it up. Divide by 488, you can do 0.1, but I'll just leave it as it is. 0.77, 0.766. Here again and there, 2164 divided by 14,716. The reason why I'm doing it is to save time, SAT, it's all about saving time, but again, I made a mistake. I divide this by that, which is a different program. So again, 2164 divided by 3008. That's 0.719, 0.719. So that's closest so far. So from here to there, 14,347 divided by 14716. I get 0.975, 0.975. So not these two, right? So far, those two are the closest. So now here and here, 1468 divided by 1773. You get, oh yeah, here I put extra 7. Then rather than going back and retype this whole thing, how do you copy the previous expression? You can do second, enter, and just go and delete one of the 7. So then I get 0.87, 0.87827, but again, that's far off. So the last one, 263 divided by 355.9. 5.9, I get 0.79, 0.79. So education was the closest one in terms of ratio. Yes? 24, which of the following is an equation of a circle that xy plane with the center of 0, 4 and radius with endpoint 4 over 3, 5. So remember the ratio, the equation for a circle is x minus, here if this is center for h and k, h squared plus y minus k squared equals to r squared. That's the most important thing. A lot of you just leave it as the radius, but it's actually squared. So if I plug it in, x minus 0 squared plus y minus 4 squared is r squared. So I know it is not the plus 4, so it has to be one of these two. And it has to be squared, so I'm assuming this one looks like some number squared. So I'm assuming A, but let's double check. So how do you find the radius? It's a distance from the center to the endpoint. So how do you find the distance? It is x1 minus x2, 4 over 3 minus 0, or vice versa, squared plus. So if you subtract this from here, you have to be consistent. So this minus that, so 5 minus 4 squared. So I get square root of 4/3 squared plus 1 squared is 1. So I get square root of 16 over 9 when you square top and bottom plus 1. It is 9 over 9, right? 1 was 9 over 9, so I get square root of 25 over 9, which is 5 over 3 for radius, but it is squared, so you get 25. 5 squared is 25, 3 squared is 9, so I was correct. A was your answer. The equation above expresses the approximate height h meters of a ball. All right, and second, after it's launched vertically over from the ground. So it's a projectile motion. So usually this is the time and the ball goes up and down and it's an even function. They will look even. So now what's the question? How many seconds will the ball hit the ground? So if you want to know when it hits the ground, the easiest way I think is to just plug into the calculator and find 0 when it hits the ground. So negative 4.9 t squared plus 25t. And I'm going to put the second y equal to 0. Y equals to 0 is the x-axis. So I can find the intersection. In that way, you don't have to do the 0 and find left bound, right bound, per center. I like to just find the intersection. So here I need to see more x's. So let me change it to maybe 8. Usually it takes less than 5 seconds to hit the ground. Right? So here's what I'm looking for. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can already tell it's 5, but second trace to be more accurate, 5. And get closer to the point where you're looking at. So here about 5. You see x is 6. Enter, enter, enter. It's 5.1, so approximately at 5. Okay. without finding the intersection, you can just go ahead and count it. 26. Katrina is a botanist studying the production of pear by two types of pear trees. She noticed that type A tree produces 20% more pear than type B trees did, and based on Katrina's observation, if the type A trees produce 144 pears, so 144, and how many pears did type B produce? And that is what? 20% more than B, right? So if I put B for number of pears that type B produce, 20% more, meaning what? 0.2 more, right? So 1 is 100% and more is 0.2, right? It's 1 plus 20% of it, which is 1 plus 0.2, which is 1.2. So what do you do to solve for B? Divide by 1.2, 1.2. So 144 divided by 1.2 gives you 120. So number 27. A square field measures 10 meters by 10 meters. 10 students each mark of a randomly selected region of the field. Each region is squared and has base and side length of 1 meter, and no two regions overlap. The students count the earth form contained in the soil to the depth of 5 centimeters beneath the ground surface is in each region. The results are shown in the table below. Which of the following is a reasonable approximation of the number of urns in the entire field? So they actually had 100, right? 10 by 10 meters was the actual field, which is 100 meters squared. But they only did 1 meter by 1. So that's 1 meter squared for each student. But there were 10 students, right? 10 students. So they had a total of 10. So we want to know how many we can actually find from the total number of the worms. So here, what do? We have to add them all. So 107 plus 147 plus 146 plus 135 plus 149 plus 141 plus 150 plus 154 plus 176 plus 166. So I added all of these out, okay? But that doesn't look right. I think I made a mistake somewhere. So 107, 147, 146. Okay. So 107. Let me try it again. 147 plus 146 plus 135 plus 149 plus 141 plus 150 plus 154, 176, 166. Should be much easier to do it on a calculator than just doing it on the screen. Yeah, that sounds better. 1471. So what do? You cross multiply, or from here to here you divide by, multiply by 10, or from here to here you divide by 10, so you will divide by 10 again there, so it's about 147.1, or you can cross multiply, so 147, 1 times 10 is 0 equals to 100, x, so you divide by 100, so then 0, 0 canceled out, divide by 10 is moving 1 decimal to the left, so it's about 150. So it is A. Yeah. 28. In the system of inequalities, y is greater than 2x plus 1 and y is greater than 1/2 x minus 1. So actually it has equal sign, so for greater or equal to, it can be on the line. If it's just greater than, no equal sign, then it cannot be on the line. Graph in the xy plane above, which quadrant contains no solution, to the system. It says and, so meaning it has to overlap from these two regions. So let me start from here. 2x plus 1. So here's 1. 2 is the slope, 2 over 1. So this is a y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. So it's up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. So it looks like this. And it is above. Right? You see how it's above going up. And second one is -1 here. And rise over 1. So up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. So it is again above. So it has to be this region right here, right? This region. It has to be overlap from both. So which quadrant does it not cover? The fourth quadrant, right? Oops. The fourth quadrant does not cover, so the answer is fourth quadrant, C. Okay. 29. For polynomial p of x, the value of p of 3 is -2. Which of the following must be true about p of x? All right. So here, you can set up one random. It says must be true all the time, so we can just try one random thing and see which one works out. But by using the process of elimination, do we know whether x minus y will be a factor? No, no, no. But it looks like this can be possible, right? Because so it says remainder of p of x is divided by x minus 3 is -2. So let's try it. So I know, I'm assuming the answer is D, but let me show you why. So let's say p of x equals to, so just come up with anything that will give you a -2. It can be, you know, polynomial with 2 terms, 3 terms. I'm not sure, but let me find the easiest one. It can be what, x, if x is 3, minus what will give you a -2? 5, right? So 3 minus 5 will give you -2. So we can just say our polynomial was x minus 5. So let's divide it by x minus 3. So x minus 5 divided by x minus 3, you look at the leading term. So 1 goes into x one time. So I have x minus 3 when you multiply it, and then you subtract this whole term. So I get 5 minus -3, which is plus 3 is -2, so it was true. The remainder is -2, so it has to be D. Yeah? If you don't have enough time, just eliminate the one that does not work and go for D. All right, 30. Which of the following is the equivalent form of the equation of the graph shown in the xy intercept above? For which coordinate of vertex A? So we have to indicate the vertex, meaning we have to write it in a vertex form. So I already know the vertex form is this, right? Or of course you can form and double check, but usually they won't require you to do that. So what's the vertex form? It is y equals to, it could be any constant, x minus, so this is h and k. The things are h squared plus k. Okay, that's the center. So, or vertex I meant. So h is about 1, it seems like, x minus 1 squared, and it's about -15 or 16, so 16 right here. So D is the answer. Okay, good. 31. Wyatt can husk at least 12 dozen ears of corn per hour and at most 18,000 ears per cone. So at least 12 to 18. Based on this information, what is the possible amount of time in hours that it could take Wyatt to husk 72 dozen ear of corn? So make sure the units are matching. So if he husked 12 each hour, that will be 72 divided by 12, which is 6. And 18 divided by 72 divided by 18 will be 4. So actually when you divide it, and from the least, right, it's from 4 to 6. So any number from 4 to 6 will be acceptable. So I'll write 6. You can write 5 or 4. Okay. Some answers for response section, you can have more than one answer. You just gotta choose one. 32. The posted weight limit for the covered wooden bridge in Pennsylvania is 6,000 pounds. Okay. A delivery truck that is carrying X identical boxes, each weighing 14 pounds, so that's total of 14 times X, will pass over the bridge if the combined weight of the empty delivery truck and its driver is 4,500. What is the maximum possible value for X that will keep the combined weight of the truck and box below the limit? So it is up to, right? The limit is 6,000, meaning it has to be less than that, right? So we are looking for the most maximum possible value. So let's go ahead and solve it. When you have an inequality, the only time that you switch the sign, meaning you flip the sign from least to greatest, where greater than to less than, is when you multiply by a negative number. But here we are just subtracting it. So I get 14x, keep the same sign. So I get 1,500. So divide by 14, divide by 14. So 1500 divided by 14. Yeah, this calculator, when you do it on the screen, keep adding the last digit. So I get 107.14 X. So it has to be less than that. So what is the greatest whole number less than 107.14? Can it be 107? Yes, 107. Can it be 108? No. Can it be 106? Yes, but we're looking for the greatest possible value, so it has to be 107. Okay. So according to the line graph above, the number of portable media players sold in 2008 is what fraction of the number sold in 2011? 2011, we have 1,600 sold. And in 2008, it was 100. So what is 100 divided by 160? And how do you can put 0.625, but I like to, what fraction of it? So I like to write it as a fraction. How do you find the simplified fraction? You go to math and to fraction, enter, enter. Then you get, is that 5 over 8? Is 5 over 8 is your answer. 5 over 8. 34. A local television station sells time slot for a program in 30-minute interval. If the station operates 24 hours per day, wow, that's like all day long, every day of the week, what is the total number of 30-minute time slots the station can sell for Tuesday and Wednesday? So 2 days. Tuesday and Wednesday, 2 days. There are 24 hours. And each hour, how many slots are there? It's 30 minutes interval. So there are two slots for each hour. So you will just go ahead and multiply all these together. So 24 times 2 times 2 is 4, which is 96. 96 slots. So they're making lots of money there. All right, 35. A dairy farmer uses the store's silo that is the shape of the right circular cylinder above. If the value of the silo is 72 pi, what is the diameter? So you'll find the radius first and then find the diameter, right? So what's the volume? And again, you can find the volume of a cylinder or a prism on the first page of the section if you did not know how to do it. But usually if you have the same base top and bottom, the volume of the prism is, or cylinder is big B times height which is the area of the base. Okay? So volume equals the area of the base, which is a circle, pi r squared times height, which is 8. So what was given, the volume was given, so 72 pi equals to pi r squared times 8. Now you're solving for r, so divide by pi first. To save time, I'm going to divide by 8 too. So then I get r squared equals to, what's 72 divided by 8? 9. R squared is 9. So when you square root it, your r equals to 3. So what's the diameter? 3 times 2 is the diameter, which is 6 yards. Okay. 36. For what value of x is function h above undefined? Whenever you're trying to make the function or function or any term undefined, there are two ways. You can have the negative under the radical or make the denominator equal to 0, right? So just make this equal to 0. So x minus 5 squared plus 4, x plus 5 plus 4. Again, since it's squared, I'll just go ahead and find when it becomes 0 on the calculator. So it is x minus 5 squared. I mean, you can do this by hand, but it will take some time, so I'd rather save time on this by plugging into a calculator and spend extra time on the other questions. Okay? And again, I left y equals to 0 so I can find the intersection when it becomes 0, right? So graph it. So I can already tell it's 3, or rather than find the intersection, just go to second graph and find when your y becomes 0, it's 3. So x is 3. Okay. So 37. So Jessica opened a bank account that earns 2% interest compounded annually. Her initial deposit was $100 and she uses the expression of that. So that's nice. They gave you the equation to use to find the value of t after t years. What is the value of x in the expression? So that must be what? 1, it's increasing, and you add the rate. So if it's 2%, it's same thing as 0.02, right? You move decimal places to the left to go from percentage to decimal. So it's 1 plus 0.02 times 100 and every year. So what should x be? It should be 1.02. Last question. So here, Jessica's friend Tayshawn found an account that earns 2.5% interest compounded annually, which is better. Tayshawn made an initial deposit of 100 into the account, and same time Jessica made a deposit of 100 into her account. After 10 years, how much more money will Tayshawn initially deposit have earned than Jessica's initial deposit? Okay, so we just gotta find, they made the same amount of deposit, so we just gotta find the difference. So for Jessica, what was it? It was 100 times 1.02 to the 10 years. And Tayshawn is 100 times 1.025, right? To the 10th, because 2.5% now is what? You move two decimal to the left, so it's 0.025. You add 1 to 0.025. So 100 times 1.02 raise it to 10. And 100 for Tayshawn, it's 1.025 raise it to 10. So the difference is minus 121 points. So get the difference, 899. Round your nearest cents. So 2 decimals. So you get 6.1 rounded from the third one is your final answer.